At 60 years old, I've met countless patients and heard so many stories that all point to one thing. They always believe stroke comes suddenly, like a storm out of nowhere. But when I sat down and really looked at their habits, their meals, their mornings, I realized something important. Stroke is actually the result of tiny choices building up over years. A quick cup of coffee on an empty stomach, a bowl of instant noodles for breakfast, or simply jumping out of bed too fast after sleeping. All of these leave marks on the brain and blood vessels. I'll never forget the story of Mr. Thomas, a 67-year-old patient. He often skipped breakfast, just drank strong black coffee and rushed to work. One morning, he felt dizzy and had slight numbness on one side of his face, but brushed it off as fatigue. 2 days later, he had a real stroke and spent months in recovery just to walk normally again. Have you ever ignored small warning signs from your body like that? The truth is, our brains are very sensitive. They send warning signals all the time. It's just a matter of whether we choose to listen. Some people eat salty foods first thing in the morning, like bacon or sausage, not realizing that after a long night, blood is already thicker, and adding high salt makes blood pressure spike. I once treated a woman in her 60s who stuck to processed breakfast foods for a while. Over time, she started forgetting things, struggling to focus, and was eventually diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. None of this was random. It all traced back to morning habits. Another patient, Mrs. Linda, used to hold in her urine in the morning, thinking it was harmless to wait a little. But that habit raised her blood pressure, and one morning, she experienced a transient ischemic attack. Have you ever thought holding it for a few minutes was no big deal? In reality, even one small action can be the difference between staying healthy and facing a stroke. What worries me most is that many people don't realize dehydration after 8 hours of sleep is also a silent culprit. When blood gets too thick, clots can form more easily. I often tell my patients, just one glass of water right after waking up, even before coffee, can help your body restart circulation much more safely. Simple, gentle, but powerful. And have you ever woken up with tingling in your hand, getting out of bed slowly, and paying attention to unusual symptoms? You're already building a strong wall against stroke and memory loss. Life isn't always defined by big events. Often, it's shaped by the habits we repeat every single day. Are you holding on to a morning habit that feels harmless, but could actually be dangerous? Share your story in the comments. It might just help someone realize and change before it's too late. Have you ever wondered why, after a late dinner, your sleep feels heavy and you actually wake up more tired instead of refreshed? The truth is, our bodies follow a very precise biological clock. When you eat too late, especially heavy meals with lots of oil, salt, or sugar, your digestive system has to work all night long. Instead of resting and recovering, your brain is kept busy because your blood is working overtime, transporting nutrients. It's like trying to clean your house at midnight. No one in the household can really rest, and by morning, everyone feels worn out. From a scientific perspective, eating late at night causes your blood sugar levels to rise higher. Your body has to release more insulin, and that can push your nighttime blood pressure up. When blood pressure is elevated during sleep, your blood vessels are more vulnerable, your blood gets thicker, and the risk of blood clots increases. Picture your blood vessels as water pipes. If you pump too hard at night, those pipes can crack, leak, and eventually something breaks down. So what's the solution? Let's walk through it step by step. Step 1. Set a schedule for dinner. Ideally before 7 p.m. If you get home late, aim for a lighter meal instead of loading up. For example, a bowl of vegetable soup or a piece of steamed fish with salad is much gentler than a plate of stir-fried noodles or fried foods. Step 2. Give your body at least 2 to 3 hours between eating and going to bed. That way, your digestive system finishes most of its work, and when you lie down, your brain can shift into its natural recovery mode. Remember, sleep isn't just about rest. It's when your brain cleans house, clears out waste, and recharges your energy. Step 3. If you really feel hungry after 9 p.m., Choose something light and easy to digest. A banana, a small cup of low-sugar yogurt, or a few slices of weeks, his sleep improved dramatically, and his blood pressure became more stable. So, dinner is more than just food. It's an investment in tomorrow's health. Try this with me for just 1 week. Eat before 7 p.m., cut back on salty and fried foods, and leave at least 2 hours before bed. After a week, you'll notice your body feels lighter, your sleep is deeper, and you wake up with a clearer mind. And let me ask you, when was the last time you ate dinner at 10 p.m. and struggled to sleep? Chances are, your body already gave you the answer. So why not start tonight? Do you remember the last time you had an ice-cold can of soda in the morning or after a meal? That refreshing, energetic kick almost feels like your body just got recharged. But the truth behind it is very different. The high sugar content in sodas and packaged fruit juices is like a flood rushing into your bloodstream. At first, your body releases insulin to manage it. But if this keeps happening day after day, insulin gradually stops working effectively, creating a condition called insulin resistance. Think of it this way. If you keep shouting at someone, at first they'll respond, but eventually they'll tune you out. Our bodies work the same way. When insulin gets tuned out, blood sugar stays high, sticks to vessel walls, and causes inflammation. Once blood vessels become inflamed, they turn rough instead of smooth. That's when platelets in your blood start sticking together, forming clots. And that's the spark that can lead to a stroke. So, what can we do? Let's try a few practical steps. Step 1. Pay attention to your daily drinking habits. Instead of soda, reach for a glass of cold water or unsweetened herbal tea. If you crave sweetness, add a few slices of orange, lemon, or cucumber. Refreshing, flavorful, and harmless. Step 2. Cut back on boxed fruit juices. They sound healthy because they say fruit, but in reality, most are loaded with added sugar. If you want juice, make it fresh from real fruit and keep it to a small portion, no more than 5 ounces a day. Step 3. Build a routine of drinking water at set times, right after waking up, before meals, and about an hour before bed. This keeps your body hydrated and helps reduce sugar cravings. Remember, it only takes 5 protecting or harming your heart and brain. So why not start making a better choice with your very next drink? Have you ever started your morning with a bowl of sugary cereal or a pastry paired with a glass of packaged orange juice? It feels great in the moment, quick, convenient, and it gives you the sense of having energy to kick off the day. But the truth is, you're unknowingly giving your brain's blood vessels a sugar shock. When you load up on sugar in the morning, your blood glucose spikes, like a sudden tidal wave crashing in. Your body scrambles to release insulin to pull that sugar into cells. But just a few hours later, after insulin works in overdrive, your blood sugar plummets quickly. The result? You feel tired, shaky, unable to focus, and worse, your brain's blood vessels are forced to endure these constant ups and downs, leaving them inflamed and vulnerable. Imagine your blood vessels as a highway. If cars drive sometimes at 20 miles per hour, then suddenly at 120 miles per hour, the road wears out fast. Your brain works the same way. It needs a steady, reliable flow of energy, not repeated sugar spikes followed by crashes. So what can you do? Let's try some steps together. Step 1. Swap sugary cereal for whole grain, low sugar options. Add chia seeds, oats, or a few slices of ripe banana for natural sweetness. Step 2. If you love pastries, save them as a weekend treat. On weekdays, go for whole grain bread with a boiled egg instead. Step 3. Ditch boxed juices and go for fresh fruit. An apple or half a grapefruit provides fiber, which slows sugar absorption and keeps your energy steady. Step 4. Always keep some nuts like almonds or walnuts handy. They're rich in healthy fats that extend your morning energy. Remember, just 5 minutes of prep the night before can set you up with a breakfast that avoids the roller coaster of blood sugar swings. I recall a 62-year-old patient who constantly felt drained by mid-morning, even though she slept well. When we looked at her habits, her breakfast was usually a pastry with sweetened coffee. After she switched to oats and fresh fruit, within just 2 weeks she told me she felt alert all day and even slept better at night. So let me ask you this. Did you fuel your brain this morning with a sugar shock or with turning stiff? Think of your blood vessels as flexible water pipes. If the inside is constantly being eroded and coated with residue, water flow slows down, and eventually the pipe may clog completely. In the brain's vessels, that kind of blockage could mean a sudden stroke. Now, let's try making some changes together. Step 1. Cut down on how often you eat processed meats, from daily to just once or twice a week. Step 2. Swap them with cleaner protein choices: boiled chicken, seared salmon, or tofu. Step 3. If you really crave it, choose sausages labeled "no nitrates added" or "uncured." And Step 4. Always balance your meal with plenty of vegetables and antioxidant-rich fruits to help neutralize some of the damage. I once had a 58-year-old patient who loved ham and bacon, calling it his little joy every morning. But scans revealed that his carotid artery walls were already thickening, restricting blood flow. After switching his breakfasts to fish and vegetables, within just 6 months, his vascular inflammation markers improved significantly, and he felt sharper and more clear-headed. Remember, just a few minutes of thought before choosing your breakfast can give your brain years of healthier living. So let me ask you, tomorrow morning, will you choose sausage or will you choose clear blood vessels and a lasting memory? Have you ever noticed that we often pay attention to our heart, our brain, but rarely think about the gut? In fact, your gut is home to trillions of tiny microbes, like silent workers keeping your health in balance. But when you don't eat enough fiber, meaning too few vegetables, fruits, or whole grains, those workers run out of fuel. The result? The microbiome weakens, inflammation spreads throughout the body, and blood flow to the brain is affected, like a city choked in smog, where every road slowly clogs. Think of fiber as a broom inside your digestive tract. It sweeps away waste, feeds the good bacteria, and helps keep your circulation and blood vessels strong. Without it, the gut lining becomes leaky, toxins slip into the blood, and your body reacts with widespread inflammation. And inflammation is the doorway to hardened arteries, blood clots, even stroke. So what can we do right now? Mine felt lighter and sharper. Remember, a plate of vegetables or a bowl of oats in the morning can be the natural medicine that protects your brain's blood vessels. So, are you ready to add a little more green to your meals today? Have you ever opened a bag of cookies, taken just one bite, and before you knew it, the whole bag was gone? Many of my patients have shared that exact story. The problem isn't only the extra calories, but the refined starches hidden in these seemingly harmless foods. When you eat cookies, snacks, or white bread, your body quickly turns them into sugar, like fueling an engine with low-quality gas. The result is a sharp spike in blood sugar, followed by a sudden crash, slowly damaging your blood vessels and raising the risk of mini strokes. Think of your blood vessels like the water pipes in your home. If you keep pouring in water full of debris every day, at first it may still flow, but over time residue builds up, weakening the pipes and clogging them. A mini stroke is your body's warning sign. The pipe is about to clog. Fix it before it bursts. So how do we fix it? Step 1. Swap white bread for whole grain bread or brown rice. Step 2. If you crave snacks, try unsalted nuts or a small portion of low-sugar dried fruit. Step 3. Don't forget water. Staying hydrated helps your body process starches and eases the strain on your blood vessels. And one more thing. Always read labels before buying, because many breakfast bars that look healthy are loaded with hidden sugars. I remember a man in his mid-50s who suffered a mini stroke while walking with his grandson. Looking back at his diet, he had been eating white bread and cookies for breakfast every day. Once he switched to oatmeal, walnuts, and fresh fruit, his vascular health improved dramatically. He told me, "Doctor, I feel healthier now than I did 10 years ago." Remember, one small choice, trading white bread for whole grains, can prevent a major health event in the future. So let me ask you, what kind of bread are you starting your day with? Have you ever started your morning with 2 or 3 cups of coffee in a row just to feel more awake? I've met many patients who do this, thinking it's a harmless habit. But the truth is the opposite. Drinking too much caffeine is like slamming the gas pedal over and over on a car that's already been. Water inside no longer flows smoothly. Pressure builds up, and the walls of the hose quickly wear out. That's exactly what happens to your blood vessels when you overload them with caffeine. So what's the safer approach? First, try limiting your coffee or tea to a moderate amount, about 1 cup in the morning, ideally after a light meal. If you want more, consider decaf or switch to herbal tea. Second, drink water between cups of coffee, since caffeine is also a diuretic and can dehydrate you. Third, listen to your body. If you feel your heart racing, jittery, or struggle to sleep, that's your warning sign you've had too much. I remember a woman in her 60s who drank up to 5 cups of coffee a day because she was afraid of feeling sleepy at work. One day she became dizzy and collapsed in her office. Luckily, it was only a TIA, a transient ischemic attack. After cutting back to just 1 or 2 cups a day and adding light walks, her blood pressure stabilized, and she smiled and told me, "Now I feel more alert than ever, without needing so much coffee." Remember, coffee isn't the enemy, but when you abuse it, it becomes a burden on your heart and brain. So let me ask you, how many cups of coffee are you drinking each day? Have you noticed how many people try to save cooking oil by reusing it over and over again? Or switch from natural butter to margarine because they think it's less fatty, safer? In reality, this is one of the most dangerous habits for both the brain and the heart. When oil is fried repeatedly at high heat, it produces a large number of free radicals, those aggressive molecules that attack blood vessel walls. Picture your blood vessels like soft, flexible rubber tubes. But when constantly exposed to free radicals, those walls gradually stiffen, almost as if they were coated with cement. Blood flow weakens, clots form more easily, and the result could be silent strokes striking at any time. Margarine isn't any better. It contains lots of trans fats, an artificial fat that the body can't process well. Trans fats raise bad cholesterol, lower good cholesterol, and quickly erode the vascular system. That's why studies have shown that eating margarine just a few times a week can be enough to increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. So, how can we change? Blood fat levels improve significantly. He told me, "I wish I had known this earlier." Remember, your blood vessels are no different from the plumbing in a house. If they harden up like cement pipes, it's only a matter of time before something goes wrong. Choosing the right oil today is like buying insurance for your health tomorrow. So, what kind of oil do you usually use in your kitchen? Have you ever woken up in the morning and rushed to get ready for the day, forgetting to drink water? Many people think dehydration is just about feeling thirsty, but the truth is far more dangerous. Our bodies are like a river, and blood is the water that nourishes every cell. When we don't drink enough, that river thickens, slows down, and creates the perfect conditions for blood clots to form. Picture this. If a stream runs dry, rocks are exposed, water trickles slowly, and blockages easily happen. Blood vessels work the same way. When blood thickens from dehydration, the heart has to work harder to pump. Pressure inside the vessels rises, and the risk of a silent stroke increases. The solution is incredibly simple, and you can start right now. Each morning, before coffee or breakfast, drink a glass of water about 200 to 300 milliliters. During the day, don't wait until you're thirsty. Make it a habit to sip small amounts regularly. A helpful trick is to keep a water bottle on your desk or in your bag as a gentle reminder. Remember, with enough water, your blood flows more smoothly, circulation improves, and your brain gets better nourishment. One of my patients, a 62-year-old woman, used to suffer from mild afternoon headaches. After I advised her to drink 1.5 to 2 liters of water daily, her condition improved dramatically. Even her skin looked healthier. She laughed and said, "So the secret to staying young is this simple." So what about you? How much water have you had today? If it's only been a few sips, get up now and pour yourself a glass to refresh both your brain and your heart. Did you know that fat isn't always bad? In fact, there's one special kind of fat that actually protects your brain and heart, omega-3. When your diet lacks omega-3, blood vessels become more prone to hardening, the brain loses flexibility, and memory may start to decline earlier. Remember, always check with your doctor before starting any supplement. Keep in mind, even a small change in your diet can make a big difference for your memory and vascular health. I once had a 65-year-old patient who often complained about being forgetful when talking with his grandkids. After 3 months of consistently adding omega-3 to his routine, he told me, "Now I can remember the old songs and share stories from the past with my grandchildren again." So how about you? Have you had any omega-3 rich foods this week? If not, why not start tonight and give your brain a priceless gift? Have you ever noticed that a single pack of instant noodles or a small canned meal can contain several times more salt than your body needs for the entire day? Eating too much salt sends your blood pressure skyrocketing, making your blood vessels stiff and tense like a guitar string pulled too tight. When this happens over and over, the blood vessels in your brain become more vulnerable, and your risk of silent strokes goes up. Think of your blood vessels like the water pipes in your house. If you keep cranking up the water pressure too high, those pipes will eventually crack. That's exactly what salt does. It forces your blood vessels to endure constant high pressure, and sooner or later, the pipes give out. So, let's try a few practical steps together. Next time you're at the grocery store, get into the habit of reading nutrition labels. If one serving has more than 400 milligrams of sodium, consider picking another option. At home, instead of adding extra salt, try flavoring your food with natural seasonings like garlic, ginger, pepper, or dried herbs. These not only make your meals taste better, but also protect your heart and blood vessels. Remember, cutting out just 1 teaspoon of salt a day can help stabilize your blood pressure and keep your arteries from stiffening. One of my 70-year-old patients had been eating salty foods her whole life. After gradually lowering her salt intake, she told me not only did her blood pressure drop noticeably, but she also felt lighter and slept better. So which team are you on? Salty or light on salt? Try reducing your sodium starting today, and you'll notice the difference in just a few weeks. Do you have the habit of snacking on sweets after dinner? I once had a patient, Mr. John, 65 years old, who loved having a few to handle the excess sugar. Now, let's try a simple shift together. After dinner, instead of candy or chocolate, drink a warm cup of herbal tea or have a piece of low-sugar fruit like green apple or kiwi. If you really crave something sweet, go for low-sugar yogurt or a small handful of nuts. These choices satisfy your cravings without spiking your blood sugar. Remember, just by changing this one small habit before bed, you can improve your sleep quality and protect your brain from early aging. Like Mr. John, after 3 months of quitting his nightly candy routine, he told me he was sleeping more deeply, waking up clear-headed, and even noticing better memory. Do you still keep the habit of eating sweets at night? If so, try switching it up starting today. You'll feel the difference in just a week. Many people think that stroke comes like a sudden storm, unpredictable and without warning. But you know, after more than 60 years of life, I've realized it's actually the result of tiny grains of sand falling day after day, slowly forming a desert. The small choices we think are harmless, a skipped glass of water, a rushed breakfast, or a salty dinner, leave their marks on our bodies. And then one day, the body simply can't take it anymore. I remember a patient of mine, Mr. Robert, in his 70s, sitting across from me with tired eyes filled with regret. He said, "If only I had taken better care of myself back then, maybe I wouldn't be so worried now." I stayed silent for a long while after that. It made me realize that health is never a coincidence. It's a gift reserved for those who nurture it early. Have you ever wondered why just 1 glass of water in the morning matters so much? After 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is like a garden after a long hot day. Dry soil, thirsty plants. Without timely water, the leaves wilt. Our bodies are the same. Without water, blood thickens, vessels strain, and the brain isn't nourished enough. Yet 1 small glass of water, like a gentle morning rain, can restore the flow and bring balance back. And breakfast. Many people still think anything is fine as long as I'm not hungry. But the truth is, breakfast is the opening song of your day. If you choose whole grains, fresh fruit, some greens, or even a piece of omega-3 rich fish, it's like laying down sturdy bricks for the house of memory and clarity. I often think of each good habit we plant today as a seed for tomorrow. You may not see results right away, but little by little, they quietly build a strong shield. Stroke doesn't fall from the sky. It comes from skipped water, sugar-heavy breakfasts, salty meals, and years of forgetting to move. And because of that, the good news is we can change the story. Imagine yourself years from now, with a little more silver in your hair, still able to stroll in the park, cook your own meals, and share clear, vivid stories with your grandchildren. Isn't that the most precious gift? So today, when you set that first glass of water by your bed, or add a handful of greens to your breakfast, remember, you're not just eating or drinking. You're sending yourself a message. I want to live with clarity, independence, and peace in my old age. And believe me, it's those small acts that protect us from life's biggest storms. Are you ready to start planting those small seeds for yourself? Many people think that stroke comes like a sudden storm, unpredictable and without warning. But you know, after more than 60 years of life, I've realized it's actually the result of tiny grains of sand falling day after day, slowly forming a desert. The small choices we think are harmless, a skipped glass of water, a rushed breakfast, or a salty dinner, leave their marks on our bodies. And then one day, the body simply can't take it anymore. I remember a patient of mine, Mr. Robert, in his 70s, sitting across from me with tired eyes filled with regret. He said, "If only I had taken better care of myself back then, maybe I wouldn't be so worried now." I stayed silent for a long while after that. It made me realize that health is never a coincidence. It's a gift reserved for those who nurture it early. Have you ever wondered why just one glass of water in the morning matters so much? After 7 to 8 hours of sleep, your body is like a garden after a long, hot day. Dry soil, thirsty plants. Without timely water, the leaves wilt. Our bodies are the same. Without water, blood thickens, vessels strain, and the brain isn't nourished enough. Yet one small glass of water, like a gentle morning rain, can restore the flow and bring balance back. And breakfast. Many people still think anything. The peace you feel when you wake up clear-headed, when your legs feel steady, when your heart feels light knowing you're strong enough to walk in your garden or pour yourself a cup of tea. I often think of each good habit we plant today as a seed for tomorrow. You may not see results right away, but little by little, they quietly build a strong shield. Stroke doesn't fall from the sky. It comes from skipped water, sugar-heavy breakfasts, salty meals, and years of forgetting to move. And because of that, the good news is we can change the story. Imagine yourself years from now, with a little more silver in your hair, still able to stroll in the park, cook your own meals, and share clear, vivid stories with your grandchildren. Isn't that the most precious gift? So today, when you set that first glass of water by your bed, or add a handful of greens to your breakfast, remember, you're not just eating or drinking. You're sending yourself a message. I want to live with clarity, independence, and peace in my old age. And believe me, it's those small acts that protect us from life's biggest storms. Are you ready to start planting those small seeds for yourself?